Are you joyful? Are you happy? As humans, as Christians especially, we want to be joyful. And as Christians, we know what the source is of that joy. Psalm 16:11, at your right hand are pleasures forevermore. But apart from knowing the source, sometimes it's difficult to, if I can, experience the source, to access the source, to connect with God and receive that joy, find that joy. Sometimes it's difficult. So how do we do that? In 2022, one of my resolutions, New Year's resolution you can call it, is how I spoke to myself. And I said positive self-talk, right? Because it's the way that we speak to ourselves about our circumstances, about our performance, about our status, that will really set the course toward whether we're being positive, right? I keep this in my pocket to remind myself whether we're being positive or whether we're being negative, whether we're having a God-honoring outlook on things or a shaming of God outlook. Because God has written all things and he's done it for his glory. So what's our attitude, right? And our self-talk is key. So I want to read to you a little bit from this book, Spiritual Depression by Martin Lloyd Jones. And again, this is a collection of sermons. So, and they're online. Go to mljtrust.org. You can find the whole series in there. Listen to them. Comment below if you downloaded it, because I have no affiliation with them. This guy is just an incredible preacher who died like 40 years ago, but incredible guy. I've benefited from it. So go download it. Comment down below if you're downloading it, if you're going to listen to it, and then come back and share something you learned from listening to those sermons, because that can help others. So let's do that for each other. Do that for yourself as well. Say you're going to do it and then do it. And it's really going to benefit you. These have helped me. So let's read just a portion of this. And I think you'll find I'm just whetting your appetite to dive in more, to fight your depression. That's why we're here. This channel is called Hope Over Despair. We don't want to despair. We want to have hope. We want to have joy. We can have hope. We have great reason to hope, but sometimes we despair. So let's have hope over despair. Listen to this. And again, this is a sermon. There then, we have looked at the causes. Okay, so we're jumping in the middle. He's talked about the causes. Download it yourself, read it yourself. But let's focus on this. There then, we have looked at the causes. What about the treatment in general? We have to treat our depression. We need to. We need to focus on that. We need to take care of it. It is a problem. How do we treat it? Very briefly at this point, the first thing we have to learn is what the psalmist learned. What did the psalmist learn? We must learn to take ourselves in hand. This man was not content just to lie down and commiserate with himself. He does something about it. He takes himself in hand. He does something which is more important still. That is, he talks to himself. And he's talking about Psalm really 42 and 43. They have the same phrase. And I'll read it. This is Psalm 43, verses 3, 4, and 5. Send out your light and your truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me to your holy hill and to your dwelling. Then I will go to the altar of God, to God my exceeding joy. I will praise you with a lyre, O God, my God. Why are you cast down, O my soul? See, he's talking to himself. And why are you in turmoil within me? It's kind of funny phrasing, but He's talking to himself. Why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God, he commands himself. Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God. And this is the passage that Martin Lloyd Jones is talking about. Okay, we have to learn what the psalmist learned. This man turns to himself and says, why art thou cast down, O my soul? Why art thou disquieted within me? He's talking to himself. He's addressing himself. But someone says, isn't that the one thing we should not do, since our trouble is that we spend too much time with ourselves? This is something he talked about earlier. He's referencing it again. Surely it contradicts what you've said. You warned us against morbidity and introspection, and now you tell us that we have to talk to ourselves? How do we reconcile these two things in this way? I say that we must talk to ourselves instead of allowing ourselves to talk to us. Do you realize what that means? I suggest that the main trouble, okay, this is Martin Lloyd Jones' suggestion, what the main trouble is. I suggest that the main trouble in this whole matter of spiritual depression, in a sense, is that we allow ourselves to talk to us instead of talking to ourselves. Am I just trying to be deliberately paradoxical? Far from it. This is the very essence of wisdom in this matter. Have you realized that most of your unhappiness in life is due to the fact that you are listening to yourself instead of talking to yourself? Take those thoughts that come to you the moment you wake up in the morning. You have not originated them, but they start talking to you. They bring back the problems of yesterday, etc. Somebody is talking. Who is talking to you? Yourself is talking to you. Now, this man's statement was this. Instead of allowing this self to talk to him, he starts talking to himself. Why art thou cast down, O my soul, he asked. His soul had been depressing him, crushing him. So he stands up and says, self, listen for a moment. I will speak to you. Do you know what I mean? If you do not, you have but little experience. The main art in the matter of spiritual living is to know how to handle yourself. Did you hear that? The main art in the matter of spiritual living is to know how to handle yourself. Do you know how to handle yourself? I'm hoping that this channel will help you with that. Okay, back to the reading. You have to take yourself in hand. You have to address yourself, preach to yourself, question yourself. You must say to your soul, why art thou cast down? What business do you have to be disquieted? You must turn on yourself, upbraid yourself, condemn yourself, exhort yourself, and say to yourself, hope thou in God. Command that to yourself. Instead of muttering in this depressed, unhappy way, and I know it's real. I know it's hard. I've been there. And then you must go on to remind yourself of God, who God is, and what he has done, and what God has pledged himself to do. Then, having done that, end on this great note. Defy yourself. Defy other people. Defy the devil and the whole world, and say with this man, I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance, who is also the health of my countenance and my God. This is the essence of the treatment in a nutshell. As we proceed with our consideration of this subject, we can but elaborate that. The essence of this matter is to understand that this self of ours, this other man within us, has got to be handled. Do not listen to him. Turn on him. Speak to him. Condemn him. Upbraid him. Exhort him. Encourage him. Remind him of what you know, instead of listening placidly to him and allowing him to drag you down and depress you. For that is what he will always do if you allow him to be in control. For the devil takes hold of self and uses it in order to depress us. We must stand up as this man did and say, why art thou cast down? Why art thou disquieted within me? Stop being so. Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. He who is the health of my countenance and my God. So that's a little bit of this book. I hope it's helpful in your battle against depression. I hope this video was helpful for you. I pray before I start each one of these because I want them to be a blessing, a benefit to your struggle against depression. I've struggled with this for decades and I've learned a lot. And this was really the impetus of it all, the starting effect of it all. It's been really helpful for me. So keep fighting, keep pressing. Let's help each other. God can help you. You can do this.